Hello, Mark Sabatella from the Mastering MuseScore School here. And if it's your birthday today, happy birthday to you. If it's not your birthday today, that's okay. You can watch this lesson anyhow, but maybe come back and watch it on your birthday. It'll be a lot of fun. So what I have for you is just it's a pretty simple arrangement of happy birthday to you, but it does use quite a bit of all the different harmonic techniques that I talk about in my harmony and chord progressions online course. So first let's just take a listen to the arrangement and then I'll talk my way through it. Here we go. So, it's not that hard to play on the piano, so it's actually a very simple arrangement as far as that goes, but it's got a lot of harmonic sophistication to it. So let's just take it apart one measure at a time. So I start off, we're in the key of E flat, and I start off with a 4-to-1 sound, a plagal cadence. And that's just a really typical little device, especially when that melody is going scale degree 6 to scale degree 5. It's a great little melodic device whenever you have that melody over what otherwise would just be a 1 chord. And then normally it would just stay the 1 chord. Normally it would just stay E flat for the whole measure. And then the second measure would go, when the melody hits D, we would have the B flat 7. Well, because the melody note on that third beat, the E flat here in the melody, my ear is telling me that I can get away with what's called an augmented 6th chord, or what a jazz musician would call a tritone substitution. This B7 chord resolving down a half step to B flat 7. So it's either an augmented 6th chord, to use a classical terminology, or a tritone substitution for F7 would be a jazz way of looking at it, but it's the same sound. So that is what's going on in that measure. And then I just throw in a little octave with a fermata on it, because it's fun. Why not? Right? Something to do. But that's actually a point right there. The melody stops for a beat. We've had quarter notes and then the melody stops. I wanted to put in some motion, so I did that little high plinky thing. So let's just hear that phrase. So there you go. Actually, now that I look at it, this B flat here should have a courtesy flat on it. So there you go. I've just added it. Great. Now, the next phrase, it could have just been more B flat 7 coming back to E flat. It could have been a B flat 7 coming back to E flat. But it wasn't. That's not what I did. Instead, I decided to take that B flat 7 and kind of expand it a little bit, make it be a 2-5. So I wanted to make it be F minor 7 to B flat 7. And in fact, my first cut at it, that is what I did. I made F minor 7 and then B flat 7. But then I was like, yeah, but what would it sound like with a secondary dominant in there? So I actually changed that to F7, then B flat 7. The melody note is C, and it really supports either note and either chord. And again, I could have just kept B flat 7 for the whole measure, but I'm looking to, expand the harmony here, and either F minor 7 or F7 has that C in the melody. It supports it. And then the B flat pickup to it, right, that little pickup there, the happy, why not put another secondary dominant there? C7. So I've done that. So I kind of like that. It's a little chain of secondary dominants. Now that I think about it, I probably could have gone with another one of those augmented 6th chords. Probably a bit much, but I want to hear it now. Let's hear it. It's kind of fun. Let me hear it from the beginning that way. Yeah, I don't actually like it better. It is a cool sound. It's a cool sound, but I just used that sound. So yeah, let's not steal the other guy's thunder here. So I've got my back to C. There we go. So I've landed on the B flat 7 then. And then it could have just gone ba-dum and come back to a 1 chord. But again, I'm trying to put in some other chords here. So what I decided to do was, instead of having a resolution to 1, I'm going to go to 6. I go to C minor. So my 5 chord, B flat 7, goes to 6, C minor. And I could have gone directly there, but I like connecting those chords. I really do. I like going from 5, B flat 7, to that chord, the sharp 5 diminished chord, and then 6. So what it really is, it's a secondary diminished chord. B diminished here is the 7 chord in the key of C minor. So that's 7 to 1 in the key of C minor. I don't do that necessarily every time I have one of these deceptive cadences, but if the melody supports it, and in this case it's not just the melody, it's that I had a beat. You know, I've managed to change chord on pretty much every beat, and then suddenly I don't have a chord change on that beat. I wanted a chord change, so the diminished chord gives it to me. So let's hear that little phrase. And then another plink. And the first plink was on B flat, the next plink is on C. Right? The first plink was B flat and then C. So there's sort of an ascending thing happening in the plinks. So the next phrase comes back to an E flat chord. And so my pickup, I put a 5 chord. So E flat is our 1. I put the 5, the B flat 7, as the pickup. But I'm also playing with inversions a little bit here. I definitely wanted to hear the G in the bass. Is what I wanted to hear, because I know I'm going to A flat. I'm eventually going to land on, when I say the person's name, and it's my wife Kari's birthday today, so happy birthday, dear Kari. That's why I'm making this video today. Hi, Kari. Happy birthday. So, I wanted the G, the 3rd, in the bass on that 1 chord. And so I played around with a couple different options of whether I would start the measure with it or just bring it in later. And I also looked at maybe making a secondary 2-5. I looked at maybe making a B flat minor 7 to E flat 7 in this measure, and I just didn't like any of those combinations. So instead, I just kind of went with some inversions. And so what I've done here is I've got E flat with a G in the bass on the first beat, and then just an E flat in root position on the second beat, and then I go back to first inversion on the 3rd beat, but make it a 7th also, and then we're leading to the 4 chord. So let's hear all of that. And again, another plink, and this one, it went all the way up to E flat. My first plink was B flat, then C, and then E flat. So that is what is going on with the chords there. It's really just 5 to 1, and then a 1-7, a secondary dominant, 5 of 4, going to 4. And then comes, you know, my favorite chord. I always love talking about my minor 4 chord, and it just fits so well in here. We've just had that little dramatic happy birthday, dear Kari. Then happy birthday, right? That last dramatic happy birthday, that minor 4 chord is just so nice there. The melody supports it beautifully because the melody is just the A flat, just scale degree 4. That minor 4 chord works, and I love the sound of a 6th on that chord. Some people might say that's a little corny, putting 6ths on your minor 4 chords, but I'm a sucker for it, and I will do it whenever I can get away with it. So I have my minor 4, and then minor 4 back to 1. And it's 1 in second inversion because I'm setting up this cadence into the final E flat chord. So it's an E flat with a B flat in the bass, and then B flat 7 on the last beat. And I put a flat 9 on it. It's borrowed. It's another borrowed note. It's the same note, right? C flat. The flat 9 on that 5 chord, C flat, is the same C flat that I borrowed for the A flat minor chord. When I say borrowed, I mean C flat doesn't come from E flat major, it comes from E flat minor. So we're borrowing that note from the parallel minor. And I borrow it once for the minor 4 chord, and then I borrow it again to use on the 5 chord. And then I go ahead and resolve to 1. So. And then a final plink that's higher than any of the others. So, now that we've talked our way through it, let's just hear it one more time. Well, there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and you can take what you've learned about the chords and try to apply it to any songs that you are working on that you want to make a little more interesting harmonically. But you can also just take this arrangement and play it, because again, it's not that hard to play on the piano, and it's kind of fun, and I hope you enjoy it the next time it's your birthday or the birthday of someone you love.